What is up, you guys? Welcome to your 19th tutorial of programming in C, and in this tutorial, as promised, I'll be talking more on arrays and its applications. So let's just declare one array, and in this tutorial we are actually going to in this tutorial we are actually going to take inputs from the user and store it in this array. So let's just make this 100 because we don't know how many inputs our user going to give. So let's make a maximum value as 100. So let's print out a statement for our users saying enter the number of elements, elements. Okay, there you go. And let's put this on a new line. So let's just take one more variable where we are going to take where we are going to store this number of number of elements thing. So let's make our scanf, scanf. Okay, and we are going to take the integer value inside the n. Do not forget our ampersand because it's scanf. So now we have the maximum value which user is going to input in n. Now we start a loop which will run n times. Okay, now one more thing is that in for loop there's initialization, condition, and increment. Now in the initialization part you can actually declare a variable. Okay, you don't really have to declare a variable in here in this line. You can anyway, you can, no problem in that, but you can also do it here. So let's initialize this to 0 because we will be needing this 0 because arrays start with 0. Okay, so let's initialize I to 0, and we put something like I is smaller than n. Now we want this I to be smaller than n, that is n minus 1, because we want our loop to run from 0 to n minus 1. So less than 0 will be n minus 1. If n is 6, then I will then the maximum value of I will be 5. Okay, and let's increment this by 1. Okay, very nice. So we come inside this loop, we type our awesome function scanf, make sure I spell everything right, and we take the input as first of all the ampersand, and we actually in this brackets we write I. Okay, so what this will do is, okay, it will run the loop n minus 1 times. We have not written less than or equal to n, so it will run less than n times. So it will start with 0 because I has been initialized to 0, so 1, 2, and so on till the user has inputted the number. So first of all, let's indent this to so that it looks nice, and the other thing is, let's get some space for working. Oh my god. Okay, so now we have actually stored our values inside this array, and it is stored in the variables like a0, a1, a2. It's pretty much like integers, but the only thing arrays have is that a0, a1, a2, like that. So let's just make this simple and let's print out whatever we have entered. So to print the array, we use the same technique. We can use I again because we initialize this again. So no matter what this leaves the value I to, we can always initialize in the for loop and we can update the value of I again to 0. So if user inputs 6 and if I will reach the value 5, and then after leaving this loop the value of I will be 5, but when we initialize this I again to 0, it will update the value of I and it will be 0 again. So we can use I again and we don't really need to use any different variable here. So let's run this loop the same number of times as the scanf, and let's increment I by 1. So let's just print out the variables which we have inputted. So person D and we print out the same this time, which will be I. Okay, pretty much the program is ready. The only thing I would like to do here is to put this on a new line. Okay, so let's run this and see how it works. So enter the number of elements. I think I'll be entering 4 elements this time. So I'll start entering 4 numbers: 56, 73, 21, and the last one will be 8. Okay. So it prints out the same values as we gave the inputs. So what this does is that first of all it ran for 0, and the first value we entered, it stored in A0 and A1. Then the next value was stored in A1, then in A2, and so on. And when all the values were ready, we started this different loop where we printed out the values. So another thing I would like to tell you is you can run this loop what do I say, like in the reverse order, and you can start this by greater than and equal to 0. So what this will do is actually let's just declare this as n minus 1. Okay, so we start the loop from n minus 1 and we go till 0. Now remember, we use greater than sign because we want this condition to be true. Only then it will run this code. And here in the increment column, we just write I minus minus because we want to decrement I this time by 1. You can go ahead and write I is equals to I minus 1, but a simpler way, you just type I minus minus. Okay, now what this will do is it will print out the numbers which we have inputted, but in the reverse order. Okay, let's run and see. I'll enter 3 elements this time. So let's enter our 3 elements: 5, 6, 7, 65, 90, and it prints out these 3 elements in the exact reverse order. So 90, 90, 65, 65, 570. I don't even know why I typed 5, 6, 7. Okay, so this is how you make use of array, and in the next tutorial I'll be talking about something called as multidimensional array. For now, all these arrays are single dimension. Okay, multi-dimension are something which we require, which will require 2 square brackets after the name of it. I'll be talking more about multidimensional arrays in the next tutorials. So for now, thanks for watching, and we meet in the next video.